Welcome back to Silverbook channel. Welcome to my subscribers and viewers. While I may not get tens of thousands of views, I value the views that I do get because I hope that I'm bringing the issues to you from a plebeian point of view. Now, a lot of people, when they watch some of my videos, complain that I'm anti-Labor, and they're obviously still stuck in a left-right paradigm. I'm actually a swinging voter. No political party has my unbridled support. The reason I despise Julia Gillard is because she's a liar, and plain and simple. And she has, therefore, she has no right to anyone's vote. You don't go in days before an election say there will be no carbon tax in the government I lead, and then bring in a carbon tax. That is not democracy. That is straight out fraud and dictatorship. What else can you call it? That, you know, politicians who do that are the scum of the earth. Plain and simple. But let's get back to what I want to talk about, and that is during the Howard Costello years, which on the whole were seen to be pretty good because they had surpluses, they paid off Australia's debt, and they put Australia in a really good position. In fact, they even had a surplus future fund that they were building. But I do have two things that I want to criticise the Howard Costello government for, and they were really nearly never taken to task for this, and nor have they been ever since, and they should have been. And they're not the same things that the Labor Party bitches about and work choices or any of that crap. That's just all side issues. The big two issues that affect Australians the most that the Howard Costello government stuffed up on was, one, they allowed the housing market to form a bubble that hasn't popped yet. They should have had the interest rates higher to stop that happening. When they saw it happening, they should have stopped it happening, but they allowed it to go on because they said, oh, we're creating wealth for all these people who are in real estate. They're getting wealthier. Yeah, if they're getting wealthier, other people are getting poorer. I'll do a video shortly on my rules of economics. I'll try to keep them as simple as possible. But that was one thing they did. They allowed the housing bubble, and I'm very critical of them for that. And the second thing they did wrong was they sold off a significant portion of Australian gold reserves. In 1997, Australia sold off 167 tonnes of Australia's gold reserves. In today's money, compared to then and now, it's costing, it's a loss for the Australian country of about $8 billion and growing as the gold price continues to go up. There were justifications for it. At the time, they believed gold was going to stay flat, that Australia, as one of the world's largest gold producers, could grab reserves if they wanted, and justifications like that. Now, personally, me being a bit of a conspiracy buff, I have no doubt banks are controlled by Rothschilds and their interests, and that they sold the gold cheap because they wanted to get hold of it. I would be interested to see whose hands that gold actually ended up in. It'd be nice to have a real investigative journalist do that and see where that gold actually went. Australia's left now with 80 tonnes in its reserves, which is tiny by world comparison. For example, the USA has 8,000 tonnes in its reserves. Admittedly, it's the world's largest gold holder, but 80 tonnes compared to 8,000, there's no real comparison there. And if anything, I would say the one thing our Labor government should be doing, if they're going to tax the crap out of the mining industry, which they are with the mining tax, is instead of blowing that money on all their socialist agendas, they should use that mining tax money to reinvest in gold for Australians, gold and silver. I'd like us to go back to a bimetal currency standard and save Australians from the evils of inflation. I doubt I'll see any politician do that, but that's what should happen. As you can see here from this chart I've got up, Australia's gold industry, this is actually produced from DFAT, so it's a government publication and is therefore in the public domain. Australia's gold exports have been going up. It's crazy actually that we export gold, and on imports we also import gold. I don't know how that works, where you can export petroleum and import petroleum at the same time. Maybe it's different types of petroleum, different grades of crude, and used for different things. The industry can get quite complicated, but gold, I would think there's basically one standard with gold, but that may be the fact that we're refining a lot of gold. We import gold to refine, and if that's the case, that's not so bad. You know, if you're importing a raw material and improving its value, Australia needs to do more of that value added sort of activity for our support our manufacturing base, because we shouldn't just rely excuse me, we shouldn't just rely on our mining to generate everything. We need to look after our manufacturing base. But those are my two criticisms of the Howard government. One, they let the housing bubble occur, and that the damages that all caused to the economy, and two, that they sold off our gold reserves. And I'd love to see the Labor government actually rebuild our gold reserves up. We're the world's either second largest exporter of gold. Sometimes we're, you know, the fourth largest. Just depends year by year. But you know, here we are. It peaked at 437 tonnes in 2009. In 2010, it was 335 tonnes. I'd like to see that use that mining tax just to buy 10% of the gold production. You know, if they bought just 10% of the gold production over 10 years, it wouldn't take them long to have, you know, 300 to 500 tonnes in reserve, and then we'd have our currency majorly backed by gold, and more tolerant to any critical blowouts in the world economy. I don't see the Australian government doing it, but what do you reckon? Put something in the comments below. Other central banks around the world are buying gold, and Australia is probably in a better position than anyone else to buy gold. In fact, they can buy it direct from the producers at a discount, you would think. Store it in Canberra. Why not? We have lots of other valuables stored down there. Interesting to note our export destinations. China doesn't really figure much on it. There's Hong Kong, probably because China's the world's largest producer of gold at the moment. So maybe they don't have to import that much. India is a huge consumer, and surprisingly, the United Kingdom's a huge consumer. Now, I don't know if their central bank has returned to buying gold. If anyone knows that, they can tell me. I know that Gordon Brown sold off a lot of their gold at rock bottom prices. But whether that's the United Kingdom itself buying gold, the government, or whether that's all the financial institutions based in London buying gold. Another surprising one is Thailand. How much Thailand's buying gold. I'm using 2010 statistics because this year's statistics won't be complete yet. So there we go. Obviously, the value of our gold exports have been increasing. I don't think that's because volume's been increasing as much as the value of the gold has increased. There's a lot of companies that do mining in Australia, and we're a large exporter of gold, large producer of gold, and I'd just like to see some of that gold kept here. That's Silver Bull Channel, out.